Houma Terrebonne Regional Planning and Zoning Meeting. First of all, I'd like to recognize Mr. Noah Leeret, the CAO for Terrebonne Parish. Thank you for being here tonight. I'd like for everyone to please stand. We'll have the invocation by Mr. McGuire and the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Soutelier.
All your hands, please. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for allowing us to come into your houses, come into this building this day. We pray, Heavenly Father, that whatever is said and done is done to your glory, to your honor. These blessings we ask in your darling Son, Jesus' name, for his sakes. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Becky, I need the conflicts. Roll call, please.
Mr. Terry Gold.
Here.
Mr. Robbie Liner. Mr. Clarence McGuire. Mrs. Angele Poisson.
Here.
Mr. Dan Rogers.
Here.
Mr. Travion Smith. Mr. Barry Soutier.
Here.
Mr. Wayne Thibodeau. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Conflict disclosure. I remind the commissioners that at any time tonight, a conflict of interest exists, arises, or is recognized as to any issue during the meeting, he or she should immediately disclose it and is to recuse himself or herself from participating in the debate, discussion, and voting on that matter. Does any member have anything to so disclose at this time? Seeing none. Approval of minutes of Zoning Land Use Commission for the regular meeting of April 18th, 2024. Have a motion by Mr. Soutelier, second by Mr. McGuire. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Communications.
No communication, sir.
Item F1, rezone from R1 Single Family Residential to R3 Multifamily Residential, north portion of Lot 17, Block D, Mechanicville Subdivision, 135A King Street, Ernest Davis applicant. Can state your name and address
Ernest Davis, 135 King Street.
to the podium.
Do it on the microphone so they
Yep. Name and
Ernest
address.
Davis, 135 King Street.
Okay, and what are we going to be doing, sir?
Sir?
We're going to be subdividing,
Yeah, I'm trying to get it,
No, rezone.
rezone? Okay, rezone from an R1 to an R3? Okay. Anybody from the public wishing to address it? Second call public, third and final call public. I have a motion by Mr. McGuire to close. Second by Ms. Poisson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Mr. Pulaski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is rezoned from R1 to R3 for the purpose of placing a mobile home on the property. The area of Mechanicville subdivision is mainly R1, but there are several lots that are zoned R2 and R3, and many of these have mobile homes on them. Additionally, several of the R1 lots have mobile homes that are legal non-conforming. In recent years, property owners have come to the Zoning and Land Use Commission to request rezoning to R3 in order to place a mobile home, and in December of 2020, a proposed rezone for numerous lots in Mechanicville from R1 to R2 was presented to the Zoning and Land Use Commission but was recommended for denial after public comment. It was decided at that time to continue to review rezone requests on a case-by-case basis. The zoning ordinance states that in order to rezone property, one of the following conditions must apply: error, change in conditions, increase in need for sites for business or industry, or subdivision of land. Applicant and staff agree that the application fits under item number 2, which is a change in conditions due to the increasing need of affordable housing in the area. The subject property is abutting an existing R3 zone district, so the request is exempt from the minimum size requirement. All public notice requirements have been met. Staff received no calls regarding the request. Staff recommends approval of the rezone request from R1 to R3 and that the Zoning and Land Use Commission recommend the same to the Parish Council.
Thank you, Mr. Pulaski. Any comments from commissioners? Motion.
I move we approve, on the staff recommendation.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Soulier, second by Mr. McGuire. Any discussion? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Good to go.
Good to go.
Just
Or
I
it's
just
gonna
want to
go-
make sure Mr. Davis is aware. So what's going to
Go to the
happen
council.
now is that it goes from the Zoning and Land Use Commission. They're making a recommendation. So from here, it will go to the Parish Council. It'll likely be on the 28th or 20. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a timeline of it that I gave him that has all the meeting dates.
Okay. So there'll be two council meetings. The first one, they'll introduce it and call for a public hearing, and then 30 days later will be that public hearing. So you're probably looking at
End of June?
it's in August. Okay, so August of August?
There's a timeline in this folder.
3 months from now?
August or July?
We're in May. I could be on the agenda in June.
So your councilman is Brian Pledger. So you might want to contact Mr. Brian and speak to him. Yeah.
It's the way the meetings go.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. It'll be August 14th, 2024 for the public hearing. Okay.
And
That
all the
paper is
final
in all of your
determination.
paperwork that you had earlier today.
Huh?
It's in your paperwork that you had earlier today. Is it that in? Yes, everything he just read is right here on this. No, you keep that and you need to come back to this meeting on May 28th.
Okay, item F2, rezone from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Two-Family Residential, Lot 13, Block 1, Richard Subdivision, 2601 Payne Street. Shanita Watkins, applicant. Ma'am, can you come to the mic and state your name and address?
Shanita Watkins,
Address? Your address?
2601 Payne Street.
Okay. And we want to rezone from an R1 to an R2, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Call a public hearing. First call public. Second call public. Third and final call public. I have a motion by Ms. Poinson to close. Second by Mr. McGuire. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Mr. Pulaski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a request to rezone from R1 to R2 for the purpose of placing a mobile home on the property. Zoning ordinance states in order to rezone property, one of the following conditions must apply: error, change in conditions, increase in need for sites for business or industry, or subdivision of land. Applicant and staff agree that the application fits under item 2, change in conditions due to the increasing need for affordable housing in the area. The subject property is abutting an existing R2 zone district, so the request is exempt from the minimum size requirement. The applicant will still be required to obtain a special exception from the Houma Board of Adjustment in order to place a mobile home in an R2 district. All public notice requirements have been met. Staff received 2 calls regarding the request, expressing no opposition. Staff recommends approval of the rezone request from R1 to R2 and that the Zoning and Land Use Commission recommend the same to the Parish Council.
Any discussion from the commissioners? Okay. Get a motion? Need a motion? Okay, I have a,
The rezoning be approved and recommend that same to the parish council.
I have a motion by Mr. McGuire.
Second.
Second by Ms. Poinson. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business.
Same as
Same
what just
thing, yep.
happened with the previous ban. It's gonna go to the parish council.
Under new business, G1 parking plan, construction of 50 parking space for proposed restaurant Day Breaks Grill, 825 Sadie Street, Bodoan Construction applicant. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Gene Milford with Milford and Associates. I'm the POR for this. This is for Bodoan Construction. This is Daybreaks Bar and Grill. That'll be built over on Sadie Street. That'll between the Sadie Street and the Intercoastal. It is a parking plan as per the zoning requirements. Anytime we have 50 parking spaces or more, we're submitting to y'all for that. We have a little under 5,000 square foot of restaurant space and the requirements for 50 parking. We have the appropriate ADA separates out for the ADA parking as well as standard parking. It's been to the State Fire Marshal and it's had its review. We'd ask that you approve the parking plan that we have for this project so we can continue on.
Do we call a public hearing? Okay, going to open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to address it? Second call public, third and final call public. I have a motion to close by Ms. Poisson,
Second.
second by Mr. Thibodeau. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Mr. Pulaski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting review and approval of a 50-space parking plan associated with a proposed restaurant, Daybreaks Grill at 825 Sadie Street. Sections 28-136 of the parish zoning regulations state any proposed parking lot consisting of 50 or more spaces shall receive parking plan approval by the Zoning and Land Use Commission. Access to the site is off of Sadie Street. The parking lot configuration and layout provide for adequate vehicular and pedestrian circulation as well as emergency vehicle access. The building permit number is 2024-112250. A site visit was performed and adjacent property owners have been notified. Staff did not receive any calls about the application. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Mr. Pulaski. Any discussion from the commissioners? Need a motion?
I'm motion we approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Soulier,
Second.
second by Ms. Poisson. Any discussion? All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Preliminary hearing, rezone from R1, single-family residential to R3, multifamily residential, lots 21 and 22, Square 4, Barrowtown subdivision, 2606 and 2608 Larry Street, Kirby Bonvillain applicant, and call for a public hearing on said matter on Thursday, June 20th, 2024 at 6 PM. Just calling for a public hearing.
Just need a motion and a second.
Motion second.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Thibodeau,
Second.
second by Ms. Poisson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Staff report?
So what we're bringing forward tonight is the proposed ordinance for the Houma Restoration District Overlay District. We introduced that at the last meeting and you all have called for a public hearing. So tonight we'll be holding a public hearing on that. And Mr. Noah Lirette, who's also the chairman of the Houma Restoration District, is going to speak about the origins of the overlay district, and then I have a staff report, once you've had the public hearing portion and everything else, so.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lirette? Name and address?
Noah Lirette, 628 Dunn Street. I'm here to speak about on behalf of this Houma Restoration District and the consideration of this ordinance. The Houma Restoration District stretches from Morgan Street to Grand Calia Road on Main Street and Park Avenue, all properties touching that. It's a political subdivision created by or introduced by former Representative Tanner McGee with the purpose of providing economic revitalization, cultural enrichment, and historical preservation in that area following Ida and COVID. And that's what this ordinance aims to do. It applies to industrial and commercially zoned properties. It's a registration type ordinance for vacant buildings. So if you have a commercial building, you register your building with, as per this ordinance, in order to create an inventory of vacant buildings and make sure they're upkept and they're safe. We have a lot of buildings in the downtown area that are severely damaged by Hurricane Ida and pose safety hazards as well as vagrancy hazards and just general aesthetics that do not really align with the Main Street Master Corridor Plan that was recently brought forth to enhance downtown. The benefits of this ordinance would be economic revitalization, public safety and welfare, community aesthetics, regulatory clarity and enforcement, historical preservation, and support for property owners in that area. Similar ordinances have been enacted in New Orleans and Baton Rouge and Lafayette with success. And I do believe that this ordinance will help revitalize downtown, which has been a mission of the Houma Restoration District as well as TPCG for some time now. So I ask that the commission considers this ordinance, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. I will go ahead and call for the public hearing. Anyone from the public wishing to address the committee? Second call, public. Third and final call, public. Motion to adjourn. Motion to close.
Motion to close.
I have a motion to close by Ms. Poisson.
Second.
Second by Mr. Soulier. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Pulaski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting review and approval of a proposed zoning ordinance that would establish a new overlay district specific to the Houma Restoration District to deter vagrancy and improve the economic conditions of the area in promoting public health, safety, and welfare, and facilitate a more vibrant and active downtown Houma. The HRD boundaries are any property with frontage along Main Street or Park Avenue from Morgan Street to Grand Caillou Road, including the portions under the twin spans. The overlay district would only apply to commercial or industrial structures within the HRD. The district would require property owners to register their vacant structures with the parish at no charge to them in order to promote more open communication between all parties, which would then serve to provide an opportunity for the HRD and other entities to assist property owners with grants and other development programs. The registration will also require that the owner designate a local property manager as the main point of contact. The overlay district also requires that the vacant structures are to adhere to a certain standard of care similar to the parish's property maintenance code regarding items such as broken windows, and annual inspections are required. The overlay district also includes a list of specific uses that would be prohibited regardless of the underlying zoning district: warehouses or storage facilities, adult nightclubs, adult uses and materials, boarding houses, car washes, congregate housing, flea markets, vape shops, and the sale of mechanical vaping devices and accessories, car washes, and tattoo shops. The proposed ordinance also provides for penalties for violations of said ordinance, as well as procedures for the notification of such violations, procedures and timelines for remedies, and appeal processes. The proposed ordinance was prepared by the HRD and their legal counsel and submitted to the parish administration for review and comment. Staff recommends approval of the proposed HRD overlay district and that the Zoning and Land Use Commission recommend the same to the parish council.
Thank you, Mr. Pulaski. Commissioners, any comments? Need a motion to, I'm sorry,
Got one light.
Mr. Thibodeau?
Is it me? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You see over here, I'm pressing her light. Oh, my bad. Let me take that off and press this one. All right. Now,
That one's still not yours. That
I'm
one's
not the
straight
right
on.
one?
No.
So I was at the right one.
You're on the
You were
one.
right. Yeah.
Let's
Go
do
ahead.
that. Okay.
You're lit.
Just for the sake of conversation, would you explain why we needed to why the Restoration District even need to create an overlay district? And did the council already approve the ordinance?
No, okay, well, no, sir, the council has not.
Okay.
So, like with the rezones or any type of zoning amendment, or new ordinance, the procedure would be to first bring it to the Zoning
Planning
and Land Use Commission, and then you all
Okay.
would be making a recommendation to the council. With respect to your first question, why? I mean, the parish has ordinances, the property maintenance code, we have, our nuisance abatement ordinances, and we have our zoning ordinances. But with any overlay district, now granted, we only have one right now, right?
Right.
We've only had one since 2007, and it was specific to major growth corridors. That's how it was written. But this one addresses the specific issues that the HRD identified for that area. Okay, so yes, there are blighted properties, vacant buildings, that kind of thing. And there was some discussion early on about, well, with the parish, why wouldn't we just enforce what we already have on the books?
Right.
This has the registration with it, which really is sort of a great olive branch, because one of the problems that we continuously see that could alleviate a lot of the issues that we're having is just lack of communication between the parish and these property owners. So with the registration, it just opens up the line of communication, so the HRD or the parish or whomever can say, okay, property owner, here's a program, here's your bill, we understand your building's vacant, but we have a program that might help you fill that building or repair the facade or whatever. It's just a way to kind of open that up a little bit more. And then as far as the uses and stuff, I think that is pretty standard as far as what overlay districts do. I mean, the HRD, I mean, you've got C2 zoning, you've got single family residential, you've got C1 zoning, you've got a mix of zone districts. And so this overlay district sort of levels that out and says, okay, well, regardless of what the underlying zoning is, if these are the types of uses that we would prefer not to see within this particular district, that's what this overlay would handle.
Now, I heard you mention fines in your recommendations. Does
Yeah.
that mean they take that authority away from the Terrebonne Parish government
No,
or
it's the
council?
parish is actually the enforcement body of these, because it's a zoning ordinance.
Right.
So it'll be the parish doing it.
Okay. Now, how does their authority gonna line up with the comprehensive plan?
So the Main Street Corridor Master Plan, which, as you all know, was put together not just by the parish, but with the HRD as well. So this discussion is rooted and aligned with that. The discussion that led to this overlay district was rooted and aligned with that master plan. And then, once we move into our comprehensive master plan, I mean, the Main Street corridor is essentially a chapter, or would be a portion of that, or an appendix rather, of that master plan. Like back in the Vision 2030, the downtown revitalization was a chapter.
Right.
Whereas now we have a separate plan just for that would be adopted as a appendix to the comp plan.
Are we nearing revisiting which one is that? The master plan that we created some 10 or 15 years ago?
Yeah, in 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be this fall.
Okay.
And that's a planning commission, document. It's not,
Right.
I mean, obviously we're going to be working with you guys to facilitate that, but at the end of the day, it's you all's document.
Yeah.
Long overdue, for an update.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Gold?
Chris, would the existing businesses, would they be grandfathered in? Or would
Yes.
they- yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Legal non-conforming is the fancy word, right? But yeah, grandfathered in. So, I mean, with, it's fortunate that this is a very limited area. So I think it'll be fairly easy for us to be able to track, through things like, well, just general knowledge of the area, but also through our, certificates of occupancy, occupational licenses. We'll know who's operational now, I mean, there's already tattoo shops, right? There's already convenience stores selling vape devices and accessories. You know,
Adult nightclubs.
I don't know if we have an adult nightclub in this strip.
Well,
In this area, I don't want to say strip. That's a bad.
So as
word.
far as
Well,
nightclubs,
but a
it-
bar, would a bar be considered an adult
That
nightclub?
No, 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 no.
Nope.
We're talking about strip clubs.
Oh, okay.
Never
All right.
mind.
Yeah,
Missed that.
keep that at Bourbon Street.
Right.
You're right about that.
No gentleman's club.
Right, adult gentlemen's clubs. Yeah, you could call it that.
SOBs.
He's looking for motion now.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Just one more question,
Okay.
if you don't mind. As far as the stopping of the, or starting of it, you said Morgan Street?
Mhm.
Okay. Just beyond that is that Stanley area? Does that fall into that, or is that? out of
Well,
line?
technically, I mean, it's right on the border. The HRD is in currently this, and maybe Noah would be better speaking on it, but I'll take a crack at it. I mean, they're looking at possibly expanding the boundary a little bit further northward to on the Main Street side, basically to encompass that Stanley property. Now, whether or not they do the same on the park side, it's up to them. Well, I mean, ultimately, it's up to the state legislature, right? But I think the HRD is working to express what they would prefer to do to the state legislators. But did I get that right, Noah?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. We had a lot of discussion. So Chris is right. We talked about it a lot, and we went back and forth about it for a little while. But we've come to a conclusion currently that we want to maintain our boundaries because we are limited in what we can do. And suggesting from the Main Street Master Corridor Plan, they suggest to start inward and work outward. We don't want to expand our boundaries too much and take off a bigger bite than we can chew. So currently, it is at Morgan Street to Grand Caillou Road, Main and Park. So that Stanley unfortunately does lie outside of that. It's currently the state and the boundaries of the Houma Restoration District.
Mr. Thibodeau?
Before you run, the land intersects Morgan Street, the land in question by that Stanley. That comes right out to the driveway or entryway to Morgan Street. So since it connects to Morgan Street, why wouldn't it be eligible just where it is? Because it has a Main Street address?
Why it wouldn't be eligible?
Yeah, why? Because it contiguous to Morgan Street. Part of the property there is you can come in and come out on Morgan Street.
I mean, I guess that's up for legal interpretation. We understood it to be our northern boundary. That's what we were made to understand from a state representative and our legal counsel. But I guess we can explore it to see what. I mean, if it's all, the idea is all properties touching Main and Park within those boundaries, not necessarily all properties touching Morgan and Grand Caillou. So as I understand it and the rest of the board members, it's everything south of Morgan Street and north of Grand Caillou.
All right,
That could be
thank you.
for legal interpretation.
Thank you, Mr. Leverett. Any other discussion?
Mr. Rogers.
Yes? Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, Mr. Thibodeau, yeah, Chris and I were just speaking. They have a legal boundary description of the HRD. I don't remember it offhand, but we can certainly inform you of that. I wish I had it on me. I just don't remember exactly what it is, but that's what they go by is the boundary description that they were given when they were first created.
Okay, but may I answer? Yeah, what I'd like to know is, obviously, in your legal opinion, since there's the contiguous to Morgan Street.
Mhm.
I'm
Push your
sorry.
button.
I'm good, I turned it off.
There you go.
Now you got it.
I'm lost tonight, trust me. I got stuck on the Main Street back up on the accident. But I mean, I'm just wondering, since it's part of, you said from Morgan to Grand Caillou Road. So every property that connects from Morgan to Grand Caillou Road is eligible. That's what I get from it, but the boundaries might not agree with that.
Yeah, it's fair. I'll
interpretation.
take a look into it
Okay,
for
all right.
interpretation of
All
it.
right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, with that being said, can we approve this if we gotta verify the,
Yeah, I don't think that necessarily, I mean,
okay,
it's my opinion.
okay, cool. All right, any other discussion? Need a motion?
I'll offer a motion that we approve the proposed, what's it called?
HRD?
The
overlay?
Houma Restoration District overlay.
Overlay?
As an overlay district, thank you.
And recommend the same to the parish
And
council.
recommend that we move it forward to the Terrebonne Parish Council.
Okay. All right, I have a motion. Second by Mr. Gold. Any other discussion?
It's right in front of
All
you.
those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
See, I wrote it so you could say, as per staff's recommendation.
Right here.
I can't see that. Okay, item I, commissioner comments.
Yeah, I just have a question. You know, a few meetings back, we talked about, hey, man, I'm just
You got it.
upside down. I'm kind of discombobulated tonight. We talked about the zoning lines connecting or using the middle of the thoroughfare. So
Correct.
have we done any more in looking at that and maybe consider a proposed change in how we interpret the boundaries?
Well, I could tell you, I mean, in our office, that's what we've started doing. I mean,
Okay.
you know, you know, we'll go through through on our GIS map and just extend those boundaries where necessary. I think where we might run into some issues that may require interpretations, there's bound to be a couple of spots where it's just not that easy,
Okay.
right? So in those instances, we'll go to legal, and then if that's not a resolve, then we can take it actually to the Board of Adjustment, because one of their duties and powers is they make zoning interpretations. So every now and then something will get presented to us, and we're not really sure if our interpretation, or maybe the person bringing it to our attention interprets it different than we do. And if there's ever a discussion about that, we take it to the Board of Adjustment and they sort of settle it. So,
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other comments? I have none. Any public comments? Need a motion to adjourn? We have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Soulier,
Second.
second by Ms. Poisson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
no, it wasn't 2 inches. It was
Oh, whenever you're ready.
Whenever I'm ready. Okay, cool. We'll go ahead and convene as the Regional Planning Commission. I'd like everyone to please stand. We'll have the invocation by Mr. Thibodeau and the pledge by Ms. Poisson.
Lord, we thank you this evening for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. And Lord, as we deliberate tonight on the business of the people, we ask and pray that what we do is pleasing, beneficial, and of value for the citizens of Terrebonne Parish. These and other blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Gold? Mr. Liner? Mr. McGuire? Mrs. Poisson? Here. Mr. Rogers?
Here.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Soulier?
Here.
Mr. Thibodeau?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Conflict disclosure. I remind the commissioners that if any time tonight a conflict of interest exists, arises, or is recognized as to any issue during this meeting, he or she should immediately disclose it and is to recuse himself or herself from participating in the debate, discussion, and voting on that matter. Does any member have anything to disclose at this time? Seeing none?
Yeah,
Oh.
I got a letter. I don't know if this is a conflict, but I did get a letter because I'm one of the property owners within 250 feet of one of the agenda items tonight.
Which agenda item?
Is it H6? Is it the O2?
Yeah.
Item H6?
Is that been tabled by any guys?
No.
No. Okay. One of the new items. It's the last one.
Last one.
Here's a local property. You're one of the neighboring properties.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any opinion on it whatsoever?
I don't.
How about just abstain from that one?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Item D, approval of the minutes of the Houma Regional Planning Commission for the regular meeting of April 18th, 2024. Motion.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by Ms. Poinson,
Second.
second by Mr. Soulier. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Mr. Soulier?
Yes, I'll motion to,
Push your button. No, okay. Push it again.
I motion to approve remittance of payment for the May 16th, 2024 invoices and the treasury report of April 2024.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Soulier, second by Mr. Thibodeau. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Communications?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a few here. The first one pertains to item G1, dated March 15th, 2024. I wonder if they meant May 15th on that, but it says March 15th at the top. At any rate, dear Becky, this letter is to formally request to table the above referenced matter, which was tabled for the April 18th, 2024 meeting of the Planning Commission. We're awaiting instructions from the owner as to how he wishes to proceed with this matter. We request that the matter be placed on the agenda for the June 20th meeting of the Planning Commission. Sincerely, David Waits. Well, Jim Templeton, sorry. So that's item G1. We're gonna do these all at once? Is that what we do?
We need a motion
For each one?
Yep.
All right.
Just break 'em.
Okay, so need a motion. Motion to table. G1.
I'll motion to table G1.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Poinson to table item G1,
Second.
second by Mr. Soulier, but per developer's request. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Okay, the next is item G2. Letter dated May 15th, 2024. Dear Chris, please let this letter serve as a request to keep the above item on the table and be considered for approval at the next Planning Commission meeting. The fire hydrant needed has not yet been installed. In talking to the owner's representative today, the owner plans to have the fire hydrant installed by then. Thank you, sincerely, Ken Rembert.
Okay. Need a motion to table.
I'll make a motion to table for developer's request.
I have a motion by Ms. Poinson,
Second.
second by Mr. Thibodeau. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 3.
The last one pertains to item G3. It's an email dated Wednesday, May 15th. Becky, please allow this email to be a notice to permanently remove item G3, division of lot 36, block 3 to Henderson Park subdivision belonging to Edgewood Holdings LLC to be permanently removed from the Planning Commission agenda. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Sincerely, Lisa Champagne.
Okay,
I motion to.
You don't need it. You
So
don't need
with
it.
no motion?
They withdrew.
okay,
They
all right.
just took it off.
all right.
Just notice.
Item H1, division of property belonging to Susan Mary DeSalle Neal, tracks A and B, process D minor subdivision, 723 Grand Caillou Road, Council District 8, City of Houma Fire. Yes, ma'am, state your name and address for the record.
Susan Mary DeSalle Neal, 109 Dupre Lane. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to subdivide the property. It was my grandparents' property. We're trying to subdivide it in two. Everything is hooked up already. We have all power. We're not changing anything other than subdividing it. And we'd like your approval to subdivide it, please.
Okay. Call public hearing. First call public, second call public, third and final call public.
Motion to close. public?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Thibodeau, second by Mr. Soulier to close. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Mr. Pulaski?
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one here. Okay, this is minor subdivision process D to create 2 lots for commercial use. Lot configuration and layout meet parish subdivision regulation standards for development. Since the site is already developed, drainage calcs are not required. All utility letters have been submitted. Staff recommends approval.
Any discussion on commissioners? Any motion?
I'm motion to
Wait,
approve
so-
this.
wait, you gotta-
Second.
Oh. Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Sulier, second by Mr. Thibodeau. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item 2A, survey of lots 1A through 1C, A redivision of lots 1S and A Capital Investment LLC, Process D minor subdivision, 617 Bottle Lodge Road, Terrebonne Parish, Council District 7, Bottle Lodge Fire District, Developer S&A Capital.
Yes.
Mr. Rembert?
Yes, Ken Rembert representing S&A Capital. This property is located on Bottle Lodge, right next door to the Bottle Lodge Middle School. It's maybe a few miles below Crozier. At any rate, the client would like to subdivide a larger lot into 3 lots. We have the fire hydrant protection, we have a letter of approval from Board of Health. The different utilities are available, and we had a drainage study done, and that's been approved. And we'd like to see about getting this minor division approved.
Okay. Open public hearing. First call, public. Second call, public. Third and final call, public.
Motion to close public?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Thibodeau, second by Ms. Poisson to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Pulaski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a minor subdivision process D to create 3 lots for single-family residential use. Lot configuration and layout meet parish subdivision regulation standards for development. All utility letters, Terrebonne Parish Engineering and Department of Health approval letters have been submitted. Staff recommends approval.
Any comments from commissioners?
Yes, sir.
Ready? Go ahead, Mr. Thibodeau.
Motion approval of the application as per staff recommendations.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Thibodeau, second by Ms. Poisson. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 3A, survey of lots 3A and 3B, a redivision of Lot 3 belonging to Perry J. Martin, Process D minor subdivision 122 and 123, Ellen Lane, Montague, Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana, Council District 9, Montague Fire District, Developer Perry Martin. Mr. Rembert?
Yes, Ken Rembert, 635 School Street, representing Mr. Martin. He has a lot that he wants to divide into 2 pieces, one on each side of the street, called Ellen Street. This is slightly, Ellen is slightly above Montague, perhaps 2 or 3 streets above Montague. And we have fire hydrant protection. We have the utility companies that can provide utilities. We have a clear letter from Board of Health. And we would like to see about getting this divided.
Thank you.
Ellen Street, by the way, is a public street.
Okay, thank you. Open to the public, once. Second call, public. Third and final call, public.
Motion to close.
I have a motion by Ms. Poisson to close,
Second?
second by Mr. Thibodeau. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Mr. Pulaski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a minor subdivision process D to create 2 lots for single-family residential use. Lot configuration and layout meet parish subdivision regulation standards for development. All utility letters and Department of Health approval letter have been submitted. Drainage calcs are not required. Staff recommends approval.
Motion we approve.
Motion by Mr. Sulier,
Second.
second by Ms. Poisson. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 4A, subdivision lots 7A and 7B, a redivision of lot 7, block 2 of 4 Point Estates subdivision, process D minor. Subdivisions 972 and 973 4 Point Road, Dulac, Terrebonne Parish. Council District 7, Grand Kai Fire Department. Developer Pamela DuPont. Mr. Rembert.
Yes, Ken Rembert, 635 School Street, representing Ms. DuPont. She owns a lot that's down near the end of 4 Point Road in a community, a little subdivision perhaps, called, I'm looking for the name of it. Oh, 4 Point Estates, I'm sorry about that. At any rate, this lot is bisected by 4 Point Road, and she'd like to separate the bayou side from the land side. She has, I believe, a sale for the camp that's on the bayou side. At any rate, we have letters from the different utility companies saying they can serve the development. We have fire hydrant protection right there on the property, and we have Board of Health approval. And we'd, different utility companies have approved it. There is no gas in that area, I might add, and we'd like to see about getting this approved.
Call a public hearing. First call public, second call public, third and final call public.
Motion to close public hearing?
I have a motion by Mr. Thibodeau, second by Mr. McGuire. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Pulaski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a minor subdivision process D to create 2 lots for single-family residential use. Lot configuration and layout meet parish subdivision regulation standards for development. All utility letters and Department of Health approval letter have been submitted. Drainage calcs were not required. Staff received 2 calls for more information, with 1 noting no objection. Staff recommends approval.
Commissioners? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. McGuire,
Second?
second by Mr. Thibodeau. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 5A, survey of tracts 3A and 3B, a redivision of property belonging to Lee M. Luke, process D minor subdivision 464, Bayou DeLarge Road, Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana, Council District 1, Bayou DeLarge Fire District, Lee M. and Sarah Luke developer. Mr. Rembert.
Yes, Ken Rembert, 635 School Street, Houma, Louisiana, representing Mr. Lee Luke. He has a parcel of land just below the community of Crozier on Bayou DeLarge. And he wants to separate a home site from a larger tract of land for mortgage purposes. The banks don't normally like to loan money on a large piece. They like to separate a little home site out of it. And that's what we're attempting to do here. We have the fire hydrant protection right out front. We have approval from the Board of Health, and all utilities are available. And we also have, we had no need for a drainage study, so we'd like to see about getting this approved as well.
Okay, thank you. Open to the public hearing. First call public, second call public, third and final call public.
Motion to close public hearing?
Motion by Mr. Thibodeau, second by Mr. Sulier to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Mr. Pulaski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is minor subdivision process D to create 2 lots for single-family residential use. Lot configuration and layout meet parish subdivision regulation standards for development. All utility letters and Department of Health approval letter have been submitted. Drainage calcs were not required. Staff recommends approval.
Commissioners?
I got a question. Mr. Rembert?
Yes, sir.
How large is the tract that she's separating, the one that won't be the home site?
It's
Acreage?
probably, It's probably about a mile and a half deep, and it has a little 25-foot entrance from the highway into behind the home site, and it extends perhaps another mile and a half into the swamp.
36.1 acres.
Huh?
36.1 acres.
36 acres, .1. So what's the plan for that?
He has no plans at this time.
All right, thank you. With that in mind, sir, I'd like to offer a motion to approve as per. Do we have recommendations?
Get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Approval.
After staff.
That's for staff, right?
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Thibodeau,
Second.
second by Ms. Poisson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 6A, tracks 1 and 2 of the redivision of property of Evelyn Bergeron Otam, Process D minor subdivision, 3221 and 3227 West Main Street, Gray, Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana, Council District 2, Shreveport Fire District. Developer Evelyn B. Otam, Mr. Rembert.
Yes, Ken Rembert, 635 School Street, Houma, representing Evelyn Otan. Ms. Otan owns a piece of land in the gray area, and that's where this is located. There is a party that would like to buy the Batcher part of her property. So this is an attempt to separate the Batcher from the rest of the land. The main street itself right in that area was built on a right-of-way, so technically we were thinking that the land connects from the large piece on the land side under the highway to the Batcher piece. So just to make it clear, we're asking that we separate the Batcher from the land side. And we have the different, the different utility companies. We have the fire protection. We did request a variance because we were slightly over the 250 feet. And we did get the variance from that, at least the letter, approving that. We have the letters from the different utility companies. We have a Clear Board of Health letter. And we would like to see about getting this approved.
Have a public hearing. Anyone addressing the public? Calling once, second call, public, third and final call, public.
I move we close public
Wait,
hearing.
wait.
Wait, hold on.
Yep. Y'all,
What did you-
y'all want
I think
to,
they
Do you have
were
a question?
are you here for the public hearing? Come on up. State your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Zora Mae Lagarde, and I live at 3084 West Main Street, Highway 24.
As it is.
And I received a certified letter stating my name has been given as a neighboring property owner within a 250 feet prior to the above division of property. You are invited to give to the Houma Terrebonne Region Planning Commission your opinion on this development prior to the consideration of the application at the above resident meeting. And I'm not quite understanding what this certified letter was. And I do own property on Main Street.
I'll talk to her. See if you can get the address that the letter was sent to. I can pull it up. Here.
Sure.
For the property.
What's
that
the
you-
address that it was? Can I see that? Thank you. Doesn't have it on here. What's the address that you live at?
3084 West Main, Highway 24.
3084. There you go.
It could be within.
So how it normally works is if you're a neighboring property of one of the properties that's gonna go up for the zoning or planning commission, what happens is they send letters to all the neighboring properties. In case you have a feeling one way or the other about the decision, you can come and give your opinion to the board, and they'll consider that before approval or denial of the property.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for that information.
Do you have any opinion one way or the other about the property?
On the property that I own?
No, on the
no,
property
on
that's
this
being
property.
discussed.
No.
Okay. What's he saying?
Yeah, I mean,
Here, you want to just show her? It might just be easier.
yeah, so.
Let's see.
You want to see?
There.
So that's where that orange dot is,
Yeah.
that's you?
Okay.
Okay, so the property that these guys are looking at is this one?
Down the street.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So you own property within 250 feet of the property that these guys are talking about. Right,
Mhm.
so that's why you got that.
Everyone else within
It's
that
just-
radius got
It's
a
just a
letter.
public notice.
It was an invite.
see what's
Yeah,
going
no
on.
problem. Hey, you're invited to any meeting.
All right, thank you.
It doesn't change anything
Yeah, that's
on your
okay.
property at all.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Special.
Thank you so much.
Already has two separate parcels.
Yeah, ask Chris that. Go ahead, if you want to ask.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Um,
Ms. Mason?
okay, I have a question. Just so I'm understanding what y'all trying to do. So the tract 1 and tract 2 was one tract currently, right? And now you're trying to subdivide it into 1 and 2? Because there's two separate parcel numbers already on the map. So are they already separate?
Well, that's what we couldn't actually tell for sure because technically the highway department used to buy just a right of way
Right.
and not the land under the highway. So technically it flows from the land side under the highway to the buyer side.
Right.
We were just trying to be careful and come to the planning commission and formally separate the buyer side. That's what's for sale, the Batcher.
Okay.
So you're trying to create track 1 and track 2?
Yes.
It's kind of out of abundance of precaution. Let's just go ahead and formally, because it was unclear if the highway actually split it or not.
Okay.
So we felt,
Do it
let's
this way.
just start fresh. Let's go to
Even
the
though it
planning
already
commission.
I'm good.
has separate
Right.
parcels.
Before y'all make a motion, I just want to clarify. Becky, did they ever close public? I know it looked like they were about to.
No.
Not
Okay.
yet. No, not yet. Okay. So third and final call public.
I move to close public.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Sudley, a second by Mr. Thibodeau to close public. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Mr. Pulaski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a minor subdivision process D to create 2 lots for single-family residential use. The applicant is requesting a variance from the maximum fire hydrant distance requirement to allow for 256 feet. The variance request is within the 10% allowance as per the planning commission policy. The lot configuration and layout meet Parish subdivision regulation standards for development with the exception of the fire hydrant. Drainage calcs were not required. Municipal addresses need to be depicted on the plat. All utility and Department of Health letters have been submitted. Staff received 4 calls for more information. Staff recommends approval of the variance request as it is in keeping with the Planning Commission policy and approval of the subdivision on the condition that municipal addresses are depicted on the plat.
Commissioners?
Motion for approval based
No, I
on,
have a
oh,
question.
I'm sorry.
Go.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Thibodeau?
Yeah, you mentioned that they have a potential buyer, Mr. Rembert. I
Yes.
thought you said that, right?
Yes.
And Mr. Director, you said they're creating 2 lots for residential use. I don't believe in building no residence on that Batcher side there, I don't think.
Well, that's what he said he was gonna do.
You gonna build a house on that narrow
That's-
portion of the Batcher?
That's what he said.
Wow,
No, they,
yeah.
yeah,
There's
they,
no apartment there. Yeah, I mean, he could build one, I guess, yeah. That's where
Well,
the old post office was.
I hear where you're going with that, and on the application, there's different choices, and they did select residential use.
Okay.
Now, I mean, it's not zoned, so if
Okay,
they want
right.
to change their mind later on, they certainly
Right,
can. The reason for when it pertains to properties outside of zoned areas, the reason why we want to know if it's residential, commercial, because sometimes the standards for development are different. So for example, he's doing residential. So that means a fire hydrant distance is 250 feet. But if he were to market commercial, it's 150,
Right,
right? So he's kind of locked in at residential at this point. And if he
Okay.
changes it to commercial, then he's going to
Uh.
no longer be in compliance. So, at that point, he'd have to install a hydrant.
all right. Mr. Rimmer, do you have, what's the property measurement of the Bachelor piece? Do you know?
It's 90, on the Houma side, it's 90, it's 103 feet from the highway right away to the bayou. And it measures 278 feet along the highway.
Okay.
It's now, it's shallower than that on the northern end. It's only about 48 feet.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? Need a motion from someone?
Motion for approval based on staff recommendations?
Second.
Okay, have a motion by Ms. Poinson, second by Mr. Tip. Can he second that motion? He had to-
He was abstaining.
You can't, okay. Motion by Ms. Motion by Ms. Poinson, second by Mr. Sujier. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed,
Abstain.
show Mr. Thibodeau as
So one
abstaining.
abstention.
One abstention, thank you. Okay. Staff reports?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So the annual report, what you have in front of you tonight is the draft of the annual report. Basically, all the text and copy is in place. There's a few little formatting things to finish up. We were thinking for the cover photo this year is to have the plaza, Rotary Centennial Plaza. That closure of that street, that block was one of the recommendations in the 2030 master plan. So it seemed fitting to put that on you all's annual report because that project was completed in 2023. But we're presenting this to you tonight as a draft so that you can use this time between now and the next meeting to review it. If you have any questions, if you have any comments or things you'd like to add, feel free to submit those to us at any time. You don't have to wait for the June meeting to roll around. You can get those in between. So it'd be the June meeting, I guess, is when we'd be looking at for you all to adopt that annual report. Or accept it, I guess is a better way to put it, right? Ratify it. Yeah.
Right.
Ratify.
Okay, thank you. Administrative approvals?
I motion to approve items J1 through J5.
A motion by Mr. Soulier,
Second.
second by Ms. Poinson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Committee reports?
We did not meet.
Okay. Commission comments? Any comments from the commissioners? Mr. Thibodeau?
Yeah. Do you know if I know Jerry Laughlin used to do it, did they have the annual hurricane overview or meeting, or is it?
So we were going to have it, I think it was a couple of weeks ago.
I had seen it
And
somewhere.
I'm really not sure why. Maybe schedules I think Jason had to go to Baton Rouge or something.
All right.
So it's postponed. It is Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, May 21st.
Okay.
At the,
At the Boverland Civic Center? Or where?
no, are we talking about the same thing?
I don't know.
What's he talking about? Yeah, we have a hurricane, the directors and emergency operations center staff and stuff like that.
That's
We're
not
having
the
a,
one I'm talking about. I was talking about the annually they were an overview given to the public about hurricane
Coastal Day.
preparedness and that.
Are you
kind of
talking about
stuff.
Coastal Day? We do it at the Civic Center?
No,
And they
I'm
bring
not
in the
talking
heavy
about Coastal
equipment and
Day.
all that?
No, I'm talking about
No.
Hurricane Preparedness Day. Jerry did it. I don't know that we've done it since then.
I haven't been aware.
All right.
Not sure.
Thank you.
Let me check with Tim. Okay. I have no comments. Any public comments? There's nobody in the public. Need a motion to
Let the
adjourn?
record show there is no one out there.
Have a motion by Mr. Soulier to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Ms. Poinson. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Thank you.